guys, welcome back to our non-toxic podcast. I'm Hannah, and unfortunately, I am alone today. Bree had just a myriad of life things come up, not the least of which being that she is just a mother, and with that, there are things that often come up. So all of our thoughts go out to her. She also just got back from Utah. So all that to say, you are stuck with me today. So this will be an adventure for all of us. I would be lying if I said I was not a little nervous. I've done a podcast before by myself, but it was different because one, it was like midnight. So I had gotten into my second wave of energy, and also it was not recorded video. So I'm going to do my very best to correct some of the things that I have noticed in myself whilst editing that could be very irritating for a listener, because whenever I have to listen to it, it is agitating to say the absolute least. These things would be interrupting, talking a lot, talking very quickly, overall just talking a lot. I don't know if you guys know this, but whenever you have to watch yourself on camera and like pick through it, it will give you the worst insecurities. I have such a complex now that I know of my mannerisms and the things that I do. Also, I know I grip the microphone a lot, but I just need something to do with my hands. So if they're not occupied, they will be just gesticulating wildly, and that's not something that I'm interested in. So bear with me, but I just need to have something to grab onto. At least we don't have the feedback that we used to with our old mics. So shout out to our studio, which I can't wait to tell you more about. But whenever I'm editing these videos, whenever it was just the audio version, it was so simple because I would just have to take the clips, cut in our little intro, our jingle, and basically if we had something that we wanted to like mark, which we never do because we kind of just go start to finish, and I would be lying if I said we actually know what we talk about during the episode. So it's pretty simple. Like it takes me 15 minutes maximum maybe to edit the episodes, including export time. But then with the video, it's a lot different. I wouldn't really say it's hard. It was a learning curve at first, but you have to go through and take the audio file and then take the video file and trim them down so they have the same start point, and then sync up the audio with the video, which sounds pretty easy, and it is easy, but you have to get it so precise because it might seem that you have the words like synced up perfectly, but then you're watching it back like 30 minutes into the episode and I'm like, that's not at all what I wanted. So it is challenging. And then with the clips, it's even harder because you have to like, I don't know, I'm boring people. No one cares about this. If you want to have me start little an AV tech chat club for amateur audiovisual nerds like myself, I would be more than happy to do that because I do love to talk about it. So, but I won't bore the listeners with it. Hang on one second. Sorry, I really wanted to time myself because I have a tendency to get chatty. Don't know if you guys know this, but I don't want to make this episode like an hour and a half. You would think it would be the opposite issue because I would be by myself with no one to volley off of in conversation. So you'd think that would make it a shorter episode. You would be mistaken. Anyone who knows me knows that I can talk about absolutely anything. And I have a lot of topics that just kind of sit in my brain waiting for someone to grant me the gift of listening. And fortunately for anyone who tunes in, you have given me that gift today. So thank you for tuning in. This is episode 54, I believe. And I can't believe it. So without further ado, and this has been much ado, I think probably about 4 minutes so far, let's get into it. So first and foremost, housekeeping. This is a Santa's cookie latte from Urban Grounds. Shout out to Hannah, the barista who made it for me. It will officially come out on Friday the 24th, which is 2 days from now. 3 days from today, 2 days from whenever you'll hear this if you listen on day one. But it's fantastic. It's basically a sugar cookie latte, but it's made with local love and finesse and all of those things that make it better than Starbucks. So highly recommend going to Urban Grounds. Thank you for fueling all of our drinks in episodes and generally just my life. Sorry, this is going to be really annoying. Listening to me pause and take breaks to drink. Okay, so I have been feeling so weird this week. I think it's because it's the holidays and almost all of my clients are out of the office if their offices are even open. So almost all of them are just out doing their own thing, as they should be, taking the time off, which leaves me with not a whole lot to do. And I struggle with that sometimes. And I'm already in a little bit of a slower season of work anyways, which I've talked about before. But being that I'm kind of a busybody, I find things to occupy my time. And lately it's been reading, running. I've been drawing a little bit more because I did have a phase whenever I was younger that I wanted to be an artist before I knew that you actually had to like make money to exist. And while that's a very sad reality, unfortunately, it is the truth of the world. So being an artist did not pan out for me. I do have the blessing and luxury of working in a creative field, which lets me kind of still use that part of my brain. But I have not drawn in so long. And it actually happened because I was exporting a podcast episode and I didn't want to leave my computer, but it took like 45 minutes to do. And anyone who works with large files understands the pain of just like, I have more things to do with this file whenever it's done. I don't want to walk away, but I need to do something. So I was just sketching out my little things and it just like, I don't know, it brought back this little love that I used to have for it. And I was never like an amazing artist. There were people that were so gifted in my junior high and high school that were like just prodigies, like amazing artists. And I don't hold a candle to that, but I do like to draw. And my parents, bless their sweet souls, paid for like a year of art lessons for me and nothing ever came of it except for the doodles that I made on my college notes whenever I was not paying attention in class. So parenting must be a joy. And I'm glad that they just cut their losses and did not hold that against me. Similarly to the piano lessons that I took for 6 months and then have nothing to show for because I don't have very good hand-eye coordination or hand-brain coordination, to be honest. I don't think that signals make it all the way to my brain from my hands to my brain and vice versa as fast as they probably should. So maybe I can correct that with some kind of like mental game. Maybe if I play some more Sudoku, I can also play the piano. I'm getting off on a tangent. Surprise, surprise. So here are a couple reasons that I think I'm feeling weird. The holidays, I don't have a lot to do. It's so gloomy outside, and I'm not sure if anyone else can relate to this, but I get so affected by the weather, and I don't know how to explain that. I mean, I think everyone's kind of similar. I know people can have like their scar tissue flares up or different things happen whenever you have like the pressure changes or you get migraines or different things. It's not that. I don't have any physical ailments, but whenever the sun is not present, I am also kind of not present in the day. And I don't really know how to explain that. I can tell I move slower. I'm in like a weird melancholy state. There's nothing making me sad. Like I'm actually very happy in all aspects of life. I just am clinging to sanity right now. And working from home the past couple days, I think has just compounded that because I'm in my house. I'm not wearing makeup. Today was the first day in 3 days I've like even opened my makeup kit from this weekend. It was still like sealed up. I have not touched a single utensil. So I think that also kind of adds to it whenever you just are rotting in your house and not doing a whole lot. And I was taking a couple days off of running, which I'll get into in a second, but it all just made me feel really like not real. I felt like I was just kind of drifting through this like dreamlike state and just doing my little tasks. And I don't know, I had to leave the house yesterday just to go get a coffee because I needed to have something that was going to break this little stupor that I was in because I was basically home all day Sunday, which was great because it was cold and rainy and I'd had a busy weekend and my social battery was on a 0. So I had to have something to get me recharged. So Sunday was perfect. Monday, I really wanted to grind through all of the work for the week and just get it knocked out so that I could enjoy the rest of the holidays. And there's not really vacation days when you're self-employed, but also I don't really have to work either. So as long as my deliverables are met for my clients, then there's not really a whole lot else for me to do, especially if they're closed. They don't want to see me even. They're like, please stay away and do not ask me to do any TikToks. So there wasn't a whole lot to do. So I just kind of, stuck my head down yesterday and did everything that I had laid out for the week. But then at like 3:00, I just could not focus. I've been having the hardest time focusing. I don't know if it's the holidays or if it's like something with my actual ADHD or I don't know. But I have had the like literal physical almost handicaps of like trying to work and I cannot make myself do it. And I hope and pray that I'm not the only person that feels this way because it sounds so silly if you don't have ADHD or any kind of, focusing impediment to say like I physically cannot focus. I cannot make myself do it. But it's like a compulsion, not even just to pick up my phone because I do admit that I'm addicted to my phone, but it's not even just that I have to pick it up and use that. It's to pick up a pen and start playing with it. If anything, if that web page takes a fraction of a second longer to load than my brain has apparently the patience for, I'm on to something else. And then it will take me 15 minutes to get back off of this little sketch that I'm doing on a sticky note to refocus on the task that I was originally doing before I got derailed onto the sticky note. So I don't know what is going on. It's usually not this bad. I'm going to go ahead and say it's the holidays because that's the main factor going on here. And coming off of a birthday week, which is super fun and also on my list of things to talk about. And then going into the holidays, it's no wonder that I am just all out of sorts and focusing has never been my strong suit. So I'm not going to think too hard on that, but I do apologize in advance for whatever tangents I go off on because even whenever I have Bree here to ground me and kind of bring me back in, it can still get a little bit excessive. So we're all on this ride together. And hopefully if you're listening to this right before Thanksgiving, you're also checked out of work. You're not in an office. Hopefully, if you are playing solitaire on your phone while you're listening to this. You're browsing Pinterest. You are perhaps you're scheduling your Black Friday sales to notify you whenever different things are coming about. Maybe you're researching your Christmas shopping. You're making your Christmas spreadsheet, which I did do this week. So I feel like there are so many things you can be doing. Hopefully, if you're listening to this, you're having a wonderful time. I would love to hear about it. Blanket statement, I want to hear what everyone's doing all the time and would never object to a conversation. So feel free to shoot me a text if you're listening to this. Just know that I will be so thrilled to hear about that. So, second order of business. I have been running so much. I know that's so obnoxious to say because even as someone who ran track for a whole 2 years, I never liked runners because why can you do something that I can't do? That doesn't seem fair. And why do you enjoy it whenever I suffer through as though I'm like a prized hog at the county fair trying to climb Mount Everest? That's how I feel whenever I run. And I'm a pretty in shape person. I always have enjoyed working out. I've always enjoyed exercising. So the fact that running has been a challenge for me really has always bothered me. So I don't know how this came about. I know that part of it is because I've had a few friends, shout out to Kara and Mackenzie, who have been running a lot more lately, and I've been seeing their content and they made it seem fun. And as silly as it is in this influencer world, I think that this has always been a thing. When you see other people doing things and having fun, you almost get this like, well, what am I missing then? Because I didn't enjoy it, but if they're enjoying it, then there has to be something that I overlooked the first time maybe. So I've wanted to do it. I've gone through different stints, but I've never been able to break the like 2 to 3 mile rut. Like I can do those, but I'm always gassed and I never really felt like I improved to get beyond that point. So I don't know. I think it was like kind of concurrent with me slowing down in business and needing to have something else to focus on because I have to have some kind of a challenge or a goal, even if it's something silly. Like even if it's learning how to do a silly little video effect, I have to have something that my brain is like excited to learn about. And I do love learning. I think that honestly, I think that I will go back to college at some point. I have a degree in finance and I would not have picked finance if I didn't think that that was going to be my safest option, but I would love to go back and just take more classes. I love to learn. Beside the point. So what I think that I got into running for is I'm seeing them having fun and I'm like, maybe I should revisit this. I have the time. I need a challenge. I'm craving something else. And whenever I was in like the throes of my stressful work situation, traveling, I needed to have the exact same workout routine every single week. Whenever I was home, like it had to be exactly what I knew. And that was what helped me stay sane because I had so many things that were just changing and, up and down all the time that having something that was just kind of consistent and predictable was comforting for me. But right now, everything is kind of comfortable and predictable because I'm in a slower season. So I want something that's more challenging. All that to say, I still didn't know how the heck I was going to keep, from passing out. And I started watching some TikToks and talked to my friends and I was like basically begging them to hype me up and like tell me what to do. I'm like, is there a secret? Like, how did you guys get into this? And both of them are moms, by the way, which is an even more impressive feat because not only do they have to figure out like the timing of when they can go for runs, but they have physically given birth to people, which is just mind-boggling. So I am always in awe of people who are doing hard things. But whenever you have the added factor of children, I'm just, wow. Consider me giving you a round of applause from where I'm sitting. I know I'm not doing that, but that would be for bad audio. So I decided to give it a try. I ran a couple miles here and there, and it was giving me flashbacks, like literal Vietnam flashbacks to 2 Mile Tuesday in junior high track. If you went to Nixa, you remember we had to run 2 miles every Tuesday and Thursday during the entire semester of PE, and it was hellish because, of course, you have to like go back to class after you're dripping sweat from running outside. It was horrific. So I went to this track because it's right close to my house, and I would do the 2 miles. Like I can do it. It's super easy, and I was still getting so gassed. I'm like, I run like stairs. I work out. How am I still not in good enough shape for this? And then I was watching this TikToker that literally changed my life. And she was like, you should not be running that hard. Like basically there's zones for your heart rate, zones 1 through 5. And they're brackets of like percentage of how much your heart rate should be beating or what your heart rate should be per minute, whatever. I'm not a doctor. Please do your own research. And I got this from TikTok. So this is very, very diluted from any kind of medical professional actually sanctioning it. So like I said, please do your own research, but this has been my understanding and my experience. So she was saying that she picked up running basically from nowhere. And the whole thing that helped her was running so slow, literally the kind of pace that you would run if you're walking into Target and you're crossing like that open area by the front and a car is like go ahead, like motioning you through. The little shuffle that you do just to show them that you're hurrying and being considerate of them letting you pass, that's the pace that you should start off with. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that one seems very obvious, seems very silly, and that's really freaking slow. So I didn't think that it was going to work, but I gave it a whirl anyways. And what do I know? I ran 5 miles the very first time, and I think I could have done more, but I had like a time constraint, and it did take me like an hour and 50 minutes to run that. So, but I went so slow, and I literally did not feel winded. Like I stopped and I walked a little bit, and my heart rate was right back to normal. Like I did not feel like I was out of breath. I felt completely fine, and I still got the endorphins and the runner's high. So that's when the whole thing kind of got addictive for me. And while I have always loved to work out, running has not been a part of that. So I want to look everyone like dead in the face, because I've had so many girls tell me over the past, like, I don't know, 5 weeks that I've been running, they're like, oh my gosh, like, how did you start? I want to run everything. And I want to grasp them by the lapels and like drag them super close to my face and be like, I am not a runner. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not that good at it. I don't even know if I'm running the right way. My form, I could look like Phoebe from Friends. I have no idea, but it's fun now. And now I'm addicted, and now I want to do it all the time. Literally, with my playlist, I made like, literally, it's called Comprehensive Running Playlist. It's all like my favorite, most upbeat songs, so I can just shuffle it. It's like a 6-hour playlist, which I pray that I will never be running for that long. But it's all the songs that are like not skippable in my head. And it's so easy for your brain. Like I just go find a little place to run. I don't love to run on sidewalks in the street, because then you have to watch out for traffic and like cars backing out. And also, what if someone sees me? Embarrassing. So I prefer to run on tracks or trails or anything like that. And luckily there's a few close to my house, but it's like I can turn my brain off for a while. It's the best thing ever. And I can sort through my thoughts. So if I want to go and like think through whatever issues are going on in my life, or whatever topics that I've like thumbtacked to the bulletin board that just like lives in my head to think about later, which we all do, like I'll get more into that later. I don't have the time for it now. Then it gives me time, literally like an hour of my jog, to just go through and sort out my thoughts. It's kind of what journaling does for me, but apparently I just have like this giant tangled knot of thoughts to think through in my head in my oh so complicated life. But it's the best. Like I don't have to think about what exercise to do, if I'm going to clean off the equipment now, or if I should wait, or like who's going to take this after me. Am I taking too long? All those things that go through your head at the gym, or go through my head at the gym, gone. You just put one foot in front of the other and maybe think about not twisting your ankle. And that's it. It's so nice. And I'm not kidding. The pride that I have in myself for like even beating little mileage goals day to day, it's just unmatched, because I had this block in my head that I just wasn't going to be a good runner, and I wasn't going to be able to do it. And it's amazing. And for me, it's not even like physiological. Of course, it's nice to see maybe myself looking a little bit less like a She-Hulk now that I'm not lifting every single day, because I do tend to get addicted to things, and I might have taken the lifting a little bit too far, but it's fine. I'm happy with my body, and I have been for a little bit now. So that's just kind of a bonus. The main thing is the endorphins, the time to yourself, the time in nature, especially this time of year. I really want to focus on getting out into the fresh air and not allowing seasonal depression to grip me in its iron talons this year. So let me sip my coffee. Hang on. Maybe I'll go through and edit all of these breaks to make them shorter, because I feel like that's going to be really irritating for everyone. But speaking of talons, I would like to talk about the book that I'm reading, which is A Court of Wings and Ruin, which is the 3rd book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses ACOTAR series, which everyone told me to read. And now everyone's like, oh no, you should read Fourth Wing instead. You should be reading this one and listening to this audiobook instead. And girls, this is a thick ass book. The first book, moderate, like Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince size. The second 2 are like, they're hefty. Like it's to the point I'm holding the book, I'm opening it, and the part that holds like the thick end that I have yet to read is gripping it like this. My pinky is sore. That's how heavy the book is, and that's how big it is. I know that a lot of us are Kindle girls now, but I have so many things to charge. I cannot commit to another device. So I'm sticking with paper. And also it makes me feel more like Rory Gilmore, so I will be never advancing from that. But it's so good, and it's so weird, but I feel like I lost the ability to imagine, because I've just been doled down by adult life, and I haven't read nearly as much. And if I have been reading, it's been like shorter, like Colleen Hoover books, which are set in a real world where I can picture it because I live in the real world, unfortunately. But it's been so long since I've read like a Hunger Games or a Harry Potter book, and I used to just devour those whenever I was a kid. And now it's like those parts of my brain haven't been used in so long that I had to I was disappointed. Like I went to go read the book, and I'm like, I can't picture it. It's not playing in my head like it's supposed to play. And I had to concentrate almost on like, imagine like you're playing The Sims if you ever did that. And I had to concentrate on like, okay, this is what the character looks like before I could even read the book. So I almost felt some shame in that because I feel like it had been so long since I had read a fantasy novel or a book that required me to kind of exercise that part of my melon, that it just wasn't as seamless as I had liked it to be. And I thought that reading was like riding a bike and where you could just pick it up anytime. And while I'm sure this is similar to actually riding a bike, and that's just not a good analogy, you can be good at it and you can pick it up, but there's definitely a process of getting back into it. So now I'm in the third book, which is, I'm like 2,000 pages into this universe. It is so good. And it sounds so silly to say I'm reading about like these fairies and everything, but it's well written. The characters are amazing. I don't want to spoil any of it because maybe you're going to read it, even though I feel like I'm the last person on the planet to read these books, but they're so good. I implore you to read them. Like, I will share my Pinterest board with you. There are so many girls, like it's like a little book club online right now. And you guys know, or if you don't know, let me inform you. I love to experience things with the rest of the world. Like, there's nothing better than like a Sunday night premiere of an episode and then going on Twitter or TikTok and seeing like everyone talking about it too. I love that. Like seeing everyone's opinions, LOLing at all the memes and everything. I think it's just so fun. So this is your chance to get in on like the ground floor of this obsession before inevitably HBO takes it and makes it into like a series and then it becomes really big. But like, you can get in now and have been an OG fangirl. That's just all I have to say about that. So good. You guys, this is challenging. I know I've been going for like 25 minutes, but it's hard to just keep talking without taking a breath, which could be my own fault. Okay, next order of business. You might have noticed that I dyed my hair red. I change my mind every 45 days approximately, and I have been going back and forth between red and strawberry blonde and like a brownish red and then a dark cherry red for like 3 or 4 years now. I am a natural redhead, and it was like that orangey red that, you know, I can't even get from a box anymore or from like a professional hairstylist. But I wanted to go back, but I always oscillate between like blonde and red. And I think personally that I look better blonde. And part of it is because when I'm blonde, I spray tan and I just like tan with light hair, and everyone looks good in that little equation. But I think that red hair suits me more. I feel like it fits my personality better. I'm a natural redhead, even though, you know, the terrors of adult life have just dulled it down to a shade of brown, which is unfortunate. But somewhere along the line, God said I should be a redhead. And, you know, he might have chosen to take that back away from me as I have reached the old age of 25. But I will not allow that to happen. So I've settled back on red. I think that it's way more fun for me. I think it fits my personality. And there's some different like social things that I've noticed being red versus blonde. I feel like women are nicer, which this is like strangers in the supermarket kind of nice. I'm not talking like my friends. Everyone is the same. But I get so many more compliments from women having red hair. I don't know what it is. If it's just like you don't see as many redheads, or maybe I just like am happy. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not hypothesizing here. I'm just saying I have noticed I get so many more compliments from women just out and about in the city and in life, just saying they love my hair, they love the color. It's so nice. I don't really know if I've gotten much like different male attention. I don't get a ton of male attention these days. I kind of walk around, you know, with a wedding ring or with a husband. So I feel like I get the same amount of male attention, but women are nicer. So if you guys have a theory on why that is, or if you've been different hair colors and you think that people treat you differently, let me know. I've seen a TikTok before where somebody had said, when you're blonde, men like you more. When you are brunette, women like you more. When you have pink or blue or like obnoxiously colored hair, then like men flee from you. And then I don't know, there's a whole theory. Maybe you'll see it after I talk about this, but let me know what your experiences have been. That's another unfortunate thing about working out all the time, is that my hair is perpetually dirty. I run 4 or 5 times a week. And also, let me go back to that. I run when I feel like running. I don't have like splits. I do have to make myself take a couple days off because I'm in like that part of the obsession where I just want to do it all the time because it feels good. Not necessarily whenever I'm doing it. That there are parts sometimes whenever I'm running and I'm like, this is not good. Why did I not just take the day off? But afterwards, it always feels amazing. And then you get that like short-term memory loss because it felt nice when you were done. So then I want to do it again. So I only go whenever I feel like running. If I have an off day, I'm not like trying to lose weight. I don't have any fitness goals. I just want to stay healthy. So if I am feeling going for a run, I will go for it. If I'm having one of those days where I'm just not up to it, I'm not going to go for one. So I feel like I'm in a pretty healthy, I have a healthy relationship with fitness right now, which I'm good. Happy about that. um, okay, I'm not even 2/3 into the way of my notes, so buckle up, everybody. Next, the podcast party was 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, basically. And because we had bulk recorded, we recorded 2 episodes before that. And the last recording that we had was on a Tuesday, and the party was on a Thursday. So we didn't get a chance to talk about it. I'm sure we'll recap whenever Bree's actually back, because I don't want to take that away from her. But it was so much fun. Thank you to everybody who came out. We had so many people that messaged and said that they couldn't make it because of something going on in their lives, or they're not in town. And maybe we'll do another meetup or something else, because it was honestly like in the year of the Barbie movie, everything was so synchronous. Like the women, girls, everyone who came, we just sat around like this table. We kept dragging more and more chairs for people who came in. Everyone had like a glass of wine and just chatting. At one point, everyone exchanged Instagrams. It was the most wholesome thing. A group of us went out to eat afterwards, and it was so fun. Like that, the point in life where women are supportive and not catty and just so eager to meet each other and support and be friends and talk about their kids and talk about their lives and talk about ex-boyfriends and everything. I was just sitting there like with tears in my eyes, like, this is amazing. And I'm definitely the more emotional of the two of us, like of Brie and myself. I was on the verge of tears like the whole night, just feeling so overwhelmed with like gratitude and love. And I can't speak for her. We were both so thankful, I think. But it was just overwhelming. Like just the kindness and everything. I know I went on like a tangent on the last episode about how I was so in shock of the community and the way that so many people have come into my life through listening, and the conversations I've been able to have with them, and so on and so forth. But it really was just the best. I could not have asked for any more. Thank you to everyone who came. And if you weren't able to make it or you couldn't have come, we missed you. And if we decide to do something else in the future, which for the record, I'm heavily peer pressured and influenced by what people tell me to do. If I feel like somebody would enjoy it, I would definitely do it. So if you guys want to have a meetup or something, then just drop a little comment, drop a line, shoot us a message, and I will personally see to it that it happens. And I will kiss your forehead at such a time that I get to meet you. So next, my birthday was the following week. Bree's birthday was that Thursday. I cannot explain how her birthday was because I am not in her head. Unfortunately, I would love to be there. My birthday was very chill. I get sad. We've talked about this. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. Everyone knows I get sad on my birthday, but I wanted to keep it pretty anticlimactic, because then you go into it and you're not stressed. There's no reason to be like over, I don't know. So it was great. My mom surprised me with a little coffee at my door, and it was very sweet and precious. She put like a little banner over it that said happy birthday. So of course I had some happy tears, which I'm not going to count those because it was a good time. It wasn't the typical birthday cry because of melancholia creeping into my life. Then I had breakfast and coffee with my husband, and Hannah from Urban, once again, just knows the way to my heart and made me a special coffee and decorated my cup, and it was so sweet. And then just the whole day I had lunch with my sister-in-law. We went to Sam's Club and got Sam's Club. That makes me like such a grandma. We went to Sam's and stocked up on some things for the birthday party that I was throwing for myself, and went home, did a little bit of work just to like make sure I wasn't inaccessible. And then I filmed a video of myself doing a Spider-Man, like a web shooter thing. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen it. I've been wanting to do that for so long, and I had makeup on and actually had free time, and usually those things don't coincide. I either have the free time and I'm at home and I have no makeup on, or I have makeup on and I would be willing to film. It's just that I don't have the time or the means. So the stars kind of aligned on that one. So I spent my birthday photoshopping or video editing a spider web coming out of my hands to bring my phone up to my grip. So whatever that says about me, I don't really need to know, but it was fun. The video was cool. So still on my little visual effects kick right now. I have a couple other ideas of what I'm going to do. So unfortunately, for those who watch my videos that don't care for them, you might have to mute me for a while because it's going to get worse before it gets better, I fear, for everyone. So the running, reading, and visual effects content is not stopping anytime soon. I had this goal for my birthday week for about, the month that I've been running, that I really wanted to run 25 miles the week I turned 25. And it wasn't for any reason other than like the first week that I ran 20 miles was kind of an eye-opening thing, because I was like, oh, girl, I can do this. So then, of course, I had to set a goal. And what better goal than to like align it with my age? So it actually was easier than I thought it was going to be, because I had come off of a slower week, and I was feeling great. The weather was beautiful, like the nicest ever. And my feet were sore. I have a black toenail and a blue toenail. And people keep saying to get bigger shoes. I got bigger shoes and they're still black. So I don't know if this was just like it was already happening from my other shoes that I was wearing. And now I just have to ride this out. Or if it's just something that I'm doing wrong. Could be me not having run for, 9 months and then deciding to go ahead and run 20 miles a week. Could be that, but who am I to say? I'm no scientist. So I did finish the last, it was a 7.5 mile run on Thursday, the day right before my birthday, and it felt so good. It was a challenge. That one was the hardest one, I think, because I had run, a lot of miles that week. And it was colder and there was like wind right in my face somehow the entire time. But like, it was just so euphoric to see it tick to like 7.5 and just know that I was done. I was so happy. Like the rest of the day I was just riding so high. It was great. And then we went and saw the Hunger Games movie, which was fantastic. I think you should all go see it as well. Let me know if you want to hear more of my thoughts on that. Here's an analogy that I made a little note of to share because while I'm not a scientist, I am a philosopher, at least in my own head, at 2 a.m. So I was running, and the whole thing that I just talked to you guys about with pacing and like why it's so important to go slow, I've always struggled because I will run so much faster than necessary for no reason. Like I will see a stop sign and all of a sudden I'm sprinting to the stop sign and then I'm doubled over having to catch my breath, and then I go to jog again, but my legs are tired and now my heart's beating too fast, and it just is like a cycle. So I'm always like sprinting and then stopping and then sprinting and then stopping, and I never got it through my like thick skull apparently that it's just better to go slower the whole time and like maintain your pace. So I was running, and for some reason this crossed into my head, and it's basically like a parallel to life. So bear with me because I'm going to get a little bit sappy. But whenever I'm running and it's kind of like a downhill or it's a flat slope, I'm going and I'm like, I could go so much faster than this. Like, I don't know why I'm going this slow, but you have to discipline yourself to like reel it back in, keep your pace. And, maybe I could go faster, but that's not the point, because in almost every run, unless I'm actually on just the track that has no terrain, there is a hill. Like there's some kind of shift. You're going uphill. You have like a rockier something is going on. And then I'm like struggling to get through. And if I hadn't paced myself during the slow times where it was easy, I would already be too gassed and have to stop and walk, which is what has always happened to me. So then, in my little pea brain, I'm thinking that's kind of like life. You really have to pace yourself during the times that are slower, where you don't have as much on your plate, where things aren't as stressful, where things are pretty good. That's where I am right now. And while I think all the time I should be doing more, I can take on more, I have free time, like I could be working more, X, Y, and Z. This is me recovering from a time where I was like straight going uphill for a while, and also preparing for whatever the next hill is going to be in my life. So whatever reason that I'm in this season, obviously part of it is in my control, but me being in this stage where the terrain is flat, I'm doing well, I've caught my breath, I feel fantastic. I could take on more, but I don't want to, because there might be a time where I can't take on less. And if I get to that point, I might have wished I had conserved my energy and my stamina and, my emotional strength to get to this point. So I hope that makes sense. But that is my analogy to share with all of you. I'm going to take a brief little pause because I get so paranoid that things are not recording. And since it's just me in here today, it would give me some peace of mind to make sure that I'm still capturing everything. So give me one moment. Okay, I'm back. Everything was recording just fine. I'm just paranoid. So thank you for bearing with me, even though I realize now that I could have just cut out that part of it and no one would have been any wiser to it. So you live and you learn, I guess. Now into the topic. As per usual, if you guys thought that it was like maybe Brie and I that derail, no, it would just be me. So we are about 34 minutes into recording and we're just not starting the topic. So I have no regrets. I hope you don't either. I hope you've been having a wonderful time. I love Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, and I think it's not because of Thanksgiving itself. I'm not like a huge turkey lover. I love family time and all of the things that come with it. But I think for me, it's that it kicks off the holiday season. So Christmas would be my favorite holiday if we're talking about like the atmosphere, the activities, the gifts. Like I love giving presents. Everyone, you all love getting presents too, but the whole atmosphere of Christmas I think is better. But Christmas is always kind of sad because on Christmas Day, you wake up and you do all of your Christmas things, but it's over and the holidays are over and you just have January to contest with. And that's not really my favorite thing. So I've always loved Thanksgiving because you have like the whole anticipation of the Christmas season. You get to spend it with family. My family is not that huge. Austin's family, my husband, is a lot bigger, but we've always spent Thanksgiving with both sides, my mom's side and my dad's side, because we're so small. I have, my grandparents and I have 2 cousins on that side. So, or on my, it doesn't matter. You guys don't care. But basically there's like 12 of us. So it's a fairly small gathering as compared to some of the families that I've seen. But I love that we can all get together and it's just very wholesome. I mean, we have our little food and my grandpa says a prayer and he always cries. And then afterwards we clear the plates and then we all take a nap or we go back to our own houses and then we'll come back again at the end of the day. Cause small town, we all live pretty close together, have some coffee and some leftovers and dessert. And then we'll get the circulars from the newspaper and like browse all the Black Friday deals, even though I know you can do that online now, but it's just fun and nostalgic. And to see all of the ads spread out across the table and you have your little coffee and then you're there with grandma and, your favorite cousins and everything and just like plotting out what you're going to do. It just makes me so happy. And Thanksgiving has always had more just warm, fuzzy vibes for me. I do think that some of it is lost when you get older. And this is going to be kind of depressing and I'm so sorry, but if I have to feel it, then you all have to hear it. But I think that whenever you get older, you're always kind of let down around the holidays. And I can't speak to those who have kids. I mean, maybe it's different. I imagine it's just amazing to get to introduce those memories to them and see things through their eyes. But whenever you grow up and you're in the stage that I'm in where I'm not a mom and I don't have kids, but I'm also married and I don't live at home, so I'm not a child anymore, there's this weird like lack of belonging because I don't get to wake up in my childhood home and go downstairs and spend it with my parents where, your mom makes you hot chocolate and you don't have all of those kind of cozy taken care of memories. But I'm not getting to create that magic for anyone else yet. I mean, I guess I could be Santa for my husband, but I don't think he would really buy it. So I think that it's just a weird in between. And sometimes I struggle with that because I have all of these memories that I have built up in my head after, years of their memories, and then you relive them and then you romanticize them when you look back on it. That now I think I've made so many holidays, including my birthday probably, into this larger than life thing that can never really be topped. So that's what I've been trying to kind of contend with the past couple of years. Once, you realize that you can't go back to that childhood mystery. And of course, Christmas is not going to be as good whenever you're 25, paying for everything, also having to work, and there's no Santa. Spoiler alert. But it's just not going to be as good. And that's fine. You don't have the same memories. You don't have Christmas break from school and all of the things. It's just never going to reach that pinnacle of magic that I had whenever I was 8. And that's okay, because there's still so many things. And the fact that now I get to buy gifts for all the people in my life and not just, have your mom sign your name on the little sticky thing because you are too young, you don't have an income, you cannot help with Christmas shopping. But the fact that I get to buy gifts for people that I love and wrap them and pick them out and watch people open them and, throw holiday parties and go to them with my friends and make Christmas memories with my grandparents and everything, that's even more special for me now. And of course, in its own way, both are equally special, but I'm just trying to focus on all of those things and the parts that I still get to savor and, just maximize the holiday spirit. So not to be a downer because I really try to bring that back around at the end, but it just doesn't touch the nostalgia that you have whenever you're a kid. And that's why I think I'm so glad right now that my brother and I are close, because anyone who has like an opposite gendered sibling, maybe the same, I don't know how it is because I have a brother, I don't have a sister. But growing up with a brother, we didn't really like ever click. We didn't have the same interests. We used to fight. He's enough of a gap younger than me. He's 22, I'm 25. And we just didn't have enough in common. Like he was just never in my same mental space, I guess. And then by the time he was, I had moved out. So getting closer to him again, now that we're both grown-ups, is the best because now you can kind of have that same sibling camaraderie and bond and like, exchange looks when our parents do something odd. And I don't know, it's fun. So I'm thankful for that. One thing I also love, going back to talking about how I love to experience things with the world, holidays are similar because there's so many memes. Thanksgiving is like an elite meme holiday. I don't know if anyone can understand what I'm saying by that, but like there's so many, I can visualize one like specifically where it's like SpongeBob with the hoop earrings and the acrylic nails. And it says something along the lines of me looking fresh to death in the living room. to go stunt on my cousins or something. And they get me every time. These are the same memes I've been circulating since I was in 7th grade. They haven't changed. They have not evolved, but they crack me up every time. And it's just the same like universal experiences that everyone has somehow had gotten to live. And those always crack me up. So you can send me those for the record at any point in time. I'll probably be reposting my favorites just so everyone can see. But I love it. I just love the thought. And unfortunately, not to bring it back sad, but I know that the holidays are not that way for a lot of people. And it's not always a happy, lighthearted, fun, nostalgic affair. And whether that trauma or sadness is in your childhood and you can't look back on it fondly, or maybe now that your situation is not one that will just allow you to live and, make the memories that other people can make. And I don't want to discount that. And my heart definitely goes out to people who are not in a situation where they're able to enjoy or, feel the same way that I'm feeling. So I definitely recognize what a blessing it is that I'm in this position and able to say all of these things, really the whole episode. Like I definitely recognize how blessed I am. So even the fact that I'm recording this at 4:00 on a Tuesday, like I get that I have a charmed life. So, why does Black Friday suck now? I remember whenever I was in 7th grade going on Snapchat and having the world's worst FOMO because my mom wouldn't let me go to the mall, partly because I was 12 years old and she didn't want to drive me at midnight. And I remember going on Snapchat and seeing all of these kids had been dropped off at the mall and were just like running rampant. And the photos of the crowds outside Victoria's Secret and Bath and Body Works, like nothing you've ever seen. It was like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade inside the Battlefield Mall at midnight. I was just completely blown away. And I remember my mom took me the first year and it was like, I think it altered my brain chemistry. I thought it was the best thing ever. We went and got Starbucks at 4 a.m., which blessed the souls of those Starbucks workers that had to deal with that. And then we went to Kmart, which is no longer even a thing around here. And we just shopped around for a little stuff. And the deals, like I had no money. I think I probably had, a little bit of Christmas money to go around. And I just thought I was like, this is amazing. You can go. It's still dark outside. Everyone's out. And something about being in the world during a time where you're not supposed to be in the world, like that's kind of how I also feel about going to work out in the mornings, which I no longer do for the record. But when I did, it felt like you were getting some kind of glimpse into like behind the scenes of the city because no one else is awake. Or whenever you're driving home super late or just, I don't know, Black Friday had that. And now I feel like it's not that good. I know that because of COVID, things changed and people weren't going out to the stores or they weren't even open, that late. But I also think part of that needed to happen because it's sad and, kind of hypocritical, ironic. I don't know that on a holiday that we're supposed to be giving thanks, then stores are opening at 4 p.m. to go shop. That's way too early. So I think that it's good that it balanced out. But I think the midnight thing is kind of fun, or even just like the super early doorbusters the next day. But now, like I went last year and I was so excited because again, I have this built up in my head to be just amazing. And I went and I remember going to a couple different stores and I just went home and bought not one single thing because it was like 15-20% off and everything else was just full price. It was not that great of a discount. And I'm like, I don't need anything of these things anyways, but I would have talked myself into buying them if they had been, 65% off. I could easily be swayed. But there's no point. Like, I'll just buy my Christmas gifts a different time. What's the point of even going out? Like, I got some good stuff online for Cyber Monday, and maybe that's just the way to go. But I'd like the experience. I like to go out and do it. I like to rally some of my friends, drag them by the ears to come and hang out with me, and then stand in a half-hour long line to get my TV. I want to do that again. And I don't care if that just means that I'm so inundated with culture. Sorry, that's so silly. I just love Black Friday. And I wish that we could find a happy balance between like you having to leave Thanksgiving meal to go get a stereo system from Best Buy and then having everything be just like a regular sale. Also, don't even get me started on stores that mark their stuff up just to like discount it. I'm on to Nasty Gal. I am so on to them because that was my store. I have their app and I would get all of my stuff from them because it's good quality. It's fairly inexpensive and they have so many fun statement pieces. But then I went on their app and they're having a sale. I think they do something similar to Hobby Lobby where they cycle it like every other week. It'll go from being like entire site 50% off to regular because they were always having these big sales. And then whenever I went back on, I had this one thing in my cart and it was like $60 and I was like, I don't really need it for that much. Like it was definitely a piece that you can only wear one time. So I wasn't going to get it. And then I get back on the app and it said entire site 50% off. I was like, oh my gosh, this is my time. So I went to go check out And the dress had been marked up to $100, then discounted down to $50. So it was only $10 off. And I was like, I know in theory that all businesses do things like this, but it just rubbed me the wrong way. So maybe they'll feel the sting of me not spending my annual $200 at their store and change their ways. But a girl can dream. Another thing about the holidays, whenever you're married, it's so bittersweet because you want to spend the holidays with your family. But if you do that, you're depriving your significant other of spending the holidays with their family. And I don't want to do that because I do love him. But then it's sad because at every holiday that I've been with his family, even though I love them, and one of my best friends is my sister-in-law, which is a story for another time. She's incredible, but it's not my family. So then there's always a sadness, like you're out of place, you're looking around, and maybe that changes when you get older and you have kids and that's your family. But I still kind of feel like the odd person out. I'm 2 years into marriage, going into my third year basically. And as I've known my in-laws for 5 years, they're all great, but it's not my family. So there's always a sadness of like it's not my Christmas or my Thanksgiving. But then now I have the flip perspective where whenever we're at my Christmas or my Thanksgiving, then I know that Austin is probably feeling that way. And then I can't enjoy it because I'm feeling bad for him. So it's just very sad as a grown-up because you never really fully get to have that, I don't know, that youthful, innocent, just naive experience about the holidays. Sorry, that was soul crushing. I didn't mean to go that far into it. The holidays are fantastic. Let's go Black Friday shopping. I shared some deals of my favorite items on my story last night, but I'll probably do a couple more because those were the only ones that had actual sales. I could share more of my favorite items, but I just felt like that would be disingenuous to share things that like were not even discounted. So then I would be nasty gal by proxy. So not going to be doing that. But overall, I think that it's going to be an amazing Thanksgiving. I'm going to try and do a little morning run with my younger brother because we talked about doing the turkey trot, which is a character arc I never saw coming for myself, but I thought it would be fun, and he's only in town for the week. So what activities could we really do together? Like he can't come get a pedicure with me. And also my toes are black right now, so I cannot go get a pedicure either out of fear of being shot by the pedicurist. But we can go for a jog, which is what we're going to have to do because I will not be at that Thanksgiving this year. It's my year to go with Austin. So probably going to do a little jog in the morning, a little jaunt, and then I'm going to have a stuffy nose and a cough the rest of the day because you know how it is whenever you run in the cold. And then we'll be chowing down with Austin's cousins, which is amazing because I love them as well. So I think that's really about it. I hope that this has not been too scattered. I don't honestly know much of what I talked about besides running and the books that I'm reading. So I do apologize if this has been a scattered, vapid brain dump. But you know what? I'm just a girl, and that's all you can really ask. So thank you for listening. As always, if you want to hear about anything specific, we're mapping out the next few weeks of episodes because we have travel and just all kinds of stuff coming up with the holidays. So if there's anything that you want to hear or hear us talk about, or if we should do another advice episode or literally anything under the sun, I will talk about it probably too quickly and for too much time. So please let us know. Thank you for listening. As always, I love you guys. I'm so thankful for you, and I will see you next week. Bye.